Throughout history, the family unit has played a major role. Your family is what defined you, from what class you were in, what job you would have, who you would marry. Even as we get closer to our time in history, family life was a central focus. Everything you did was for your family, and once you could have a family of your own, you did. However, the importance of family has faded when it comes to this time in American history. We see young women waiting until their 30s to secure a good job. We see people searching for animals and pets to replace the longing they have for children. But the worst case of this is happening in the school systems, which the government has used, who has undermined and hidden things about students to the parents. The public schools have formed secret clubs and taught children information without the parents' knowledge nor consent. Importance of the role of the family needs to increase and be implemented more thoroughly through the school systems. First, I will address the importance of family. What impact does a healthy family have on children? Why is it that family even matters as much as it does? Quote, families are our most intimate social environment, end quote. University of Nebraska-Lincoln Extension, Institute of Agriculture and Natural Resources. When you are with your family is when you can really be yourself. The family provides a safe and loving environment where parents nurture their children and raise them as best as they can. Of course, families aren't perfect, but when you are with your family is when you can make weird faces and not be judged. You can mess up and your family will still love you and come by you. You are safe with your family and you do anything to protect them. Not only is family life so important for the individual and the family itself, but also for society. Quote, families are the basic foundational social unit in all human communities around the world, and healthy individuals without healthy families are at the core of a healthy society, end quote. University of Nebraska-Lincoln Extension, Institute of Agriculture and Natural Resources. The family is the heart and soul of any society. When the family succeeds, the community succeeds. So it's not just the fact that the family is important to the individual, but the family is important to the entire society. If a society is to be prosperous, the family must also be. A child raised in a healthy family is much more likely to be successful as an adult than a child raised in a broken, split household. Families can provide children with confidence and security and love, watching children grow into mature and responsible adults. This is a fundamental key for the success of any society. It is not just a known fact, but a proven fact. Quote, a child trends analysis found that close, positive family relationships that feature open communication help young people stay healthy and avoid substance use, poor psychological health, risky sexual behavior, and violent relationships, end quote. Act for Youth Center of Community Action. A healthy, strong family can provide the children with the confidence in themselves to not seek other ways to satisfy the missing pieces of themselves. It can save a child from the dark things of the world mentioned above. You may be wondering, what does a healthy family look like? Well, statistics have shown that, quote, whether parents are married or cohabitating, parental relationship quality, how happy parents are in the relationship, is associated with children's behavioral problems, social competence, school engagement, and depression, end quote. Act for Youth Center of Community Action. The parents' relationship with one another deeply affects the child. It can influence the child's behavior, social confidence, and depression. A healthy family would be one that has two parents who live together in harmony and have a good relationship. Quote, children whose parents' marriage is stable feel safe and secure. They get a sense of permanence resulting in peace of mind and better mental health, end quote, mom.com. Quote, more than 30 years of research show that when children are living with their married biological parents, they have better physical, emotional, and academic well-being, end quote. Anderson, 2014, Sandstrom, and Huerta, 2013. As you can see, the family is important for the individual and the family itself, for society, and statistically. So why is it that the government is using school systems to undermine the role of family and hide things from parents? And how are they doing this? There have been a surplus of lawsuits against the public schools for hiding the fact that the teacher and schools teach transgender and homosexuality to children without the parents' knowledge. Quote, in each of the lawsuits, the parents alleged that school officials formed formal and informal policies, guidelines, or gender support plans that permit students to choose new names or pronouns or adopt a different gender identity without the parents' consent. In some cases, schools have actively deceived parents or refused to abide by their wishes, they claim. End quote, Stefan Sawchuk. Schools have given themselves the permission to go against the parent or the children, breaking up the trust and security of the families. One of the lawsuit stories was of a child who was told by a teacher that they were gay, and the child, being a middle schooler, just went along with it, not knowing better. The teacher brought the child to a secret club, which no parent even knew about, and the child eventually was convinced that they were trans. All while this was being done, the teacher told the child not to tell their parents because the parents would judge them and not understand. Eventually, the parents found out and said they would have loved and accepted their child no matter what in every way if they had known, and that the school had no right to lie to the parents and tell their children not to tell them. Eventually, the student decided to go back to being straight and in their original gender, now that they didn't have the influence of a teacher telling them who they were and the loving support of their family. But this just goes to show that the government has lost their respect for the family life and have chosen to separate the child from the parents through the school systems. Quote, New Jersey law specifically allows students to be called by the name and pronoun they prefer. The state guidance says that paternal consent is not required. End quote, Stefan Sawchuk. The school systems who need parent consent for minor things such as permission to go on a field trip or giving a child aspirin when they don't feel well, decided that for major things such as changing of pronouns or identity, parents don't need to know. This undermining of the family is a clear disregard for the importance it has and the necessity of family in society. But if this is so, how can it change? Well, there are a few ways that the importance of family and the value can be brought back into the schools. In schools, implementing family counseling programs or events in which families go to grow closer together and form a greater bond would be a great idea. It would bring about schools having respect for the rights and values of parents and the family. Another way to enforce the importance of family being seen in schools is that the government should not let schools and teachers get in between the child and the parents, telling the children that they're better because the children know better. But because the parents are the ones who know what's best for their own children. Children have so much to learn and discover about what they believe and who they are, but they're easily persuaded with barely any information to back up ideas. So to have a person tell them that they know best and it's them before their parents is the best way to have a child be so lost and broken with no idea how to escape. With parents there to help them and guide them along, the whole situation and problems seemingly disappear. The world becomes wider and larger, giving the children the hope of finding their own way, the right way, with the love and support, rather than alone and unsure of who really cares. All in all, the importance of family is the core and center of society, which should never be undermined. Importance of the role of family needs to increase and be implemented more thoroughly through the school systems. I'll leave you with this. One of the first things God gave man, far before any form of government, was a family. So we should protect it and value it with everything we've got. Thank you.